How's it going, dads? Hope you're doing wonderfully well out there today. Check out this t-shirt, Dad Camp. We have the gorilla for Gorilla Wars on the front of it. My daughter actually said to me that blue isn't my colour, and I agreed with her. But hey ho, we're here, we're alive, we're rocking the Dad Camp t-shirt. And today I want to take a little bit of time to talk about this idea of work-life balance. Um, Now, there's some people out there, and there is a message out there, a story out there, a narrative out there that would say that work life balance is impossible. And, in some ways, I agree with that. But I think that if you are a father and if you have a family, that it's important to think about your work-life balance, because ultimately the bottom line is that yes, you have a job and you have work and you have a role there, but you also have a role as a father and as a husband and as a man who's leading their family. And I believe that you got to take that seriously. You got to take that as serious, if not more serious, than your role in work. But the reality is that achieving this work-life balance can be a little bit difficult. It can be a challenge. So therefore, at the very outset, we got to make a decision, make a choice that our family are worth investing more of our energy and more of our time into. Um, you know, Between work and deadlines and things that you have to do personally as a man and the responsibilities that you have, it might actually feel for you that there is never enough time to be truly there for your kids, truly there for your partner, for your wife. But the truth is, as fathers, we are called to lead our families. So that actually means making that decision, like I said, to show up and be present in our families, present in our lives, in our kids' lives. Not just physically, not just being there in the body, but being there emotionally, being there mentally, being there fully engaged in family life. So let's dive in. So I want to talk about how we can navigate that work-life balance by focusing on three things. And these three things are prioritizing time, creating a family first mindset, and setting healthy boundaries. So number one, prioritizing time. This is about being intentional with your schedule. I used to work with a team out in Armagh, and we worked with people who wanted to grow businesses or had an idea, and they wanted help to make that grow and become successful. And one of the things that we would have talked about quite a lot, even in our own team, is the power of scheduling and how when you schedule things, there's a few things that happens. One is you've taken it from your head and you've put it on the paper, so it becomes a little bit more real. And two is when it is in your schedule that it becomes a decision that you've made that this is important and this is happening. So family time won't just happen by itself. It has to be planned and it has to be protected, and so it has to be scheduled. And if you think about your working life and the meetings that you have and the things that you need to do, you probably have a diary and a schedule, and all of those things go into it. A schedule for me shows where somebody's priorities lie. So in my schedule, if I was able to show you it, you would see all of my work commitments for Dad Camp, for other roles and responsibilities that I have in other jobs. And you'll also see family time. So that's anything from picking the girls up from school to bringing them to their dance class or their drama class, to scheduling things at the weekend where we're going to the park or the beach or whatever it might be. if it's not scheduled, it won't happen. And scheduling shows where your priorities lie. And yes, I get it. Our calendars and our diaries can get really full, but we have to treat our family time like it's the most important thing in our week. We have to treat it like a non-negotiable. You know, there's meetings that you have to be at, there's things that you have to do in your work that are just a non-negotiable. And that's what our family time needs to be like. So I don't know what that would look like for you, what those non-negotiables would be, but it might be a weekly dinner. It might be deciding to go to the park on a Saturday. It might be getting up in the morning and having a fry if you're from Ireland. Or it might be scheduling in some one-on-one time with your kids, but needs to be a non-negotiable. Once it gets in, it happens. You schedule it, you guard it, you protect it, and most importantly, you show up for it. You're there, you follow through with your commitments with your family and with your kids. Because if you're not intentional, those moments just slip by and family time gets squeezed out. I remember when I was a very young father and I just started a new management role in youth work. And I was managing a project where I had a few staff to manage, and it was the biggest project that I had led at that time. So I was meeting funders and doing a lot of networking, and there was a lot of evaluation and monitoring that needed done, and a lot of follow-up around how to do that. Anyway, cut a long story short, you know, I became very overwhelmed with the amount of work that needed done. So then that work then trickled into my home life. So I found that I was sitting up late at night, working on things, typing things up, making plans for projects, sending emails on my phone. And I noticed particularly at that time that I was very, very distracted. We had a young kid. You know, anytime I was sitting in front of the TV with Anita, I'd be watching the TV for 10 minutes, but my mind wouldn't be present, wouldn't be there, just be thinking about all the stuff that I had to do. And then the phone would come out and I would be texting away and sending emails and all that sort of stuff. I was not present. Even at the weekends, my mind would not shut off. I was not present. I was not there. And it dawned on me at one point that as I pulled in to the driveway one time and I looked at the house and I thought, I don't want to go in there, I have too much to do. And then a thought just came over me. Your work is getting the best of you. It's getting the best of your mind. It's getting the best of your energy. It's getting all of the focus and all of the attention. And it was almost like God had just went boom and hit me a good clip around the ear. And from that moment, I was like, I need to get control of this because this overwhelm and stress and need to succeed in work is getting is overcoming and being prioritized over my time with my family. And family time, I was saying it back then was really important, but it wasn't demonstrating it. It wasn't showing up in my schedule. It wasn't showing up in my presence. So if we're not intentional around that, then you know it gets squeezed out. So a lot of this stuff that I'm sharing today is stuff that I've implemented in my life and continue to revisit. So yes, make that time, schedule it, make it sacred, and show up and make it count. Number 2 is this. You got to adopt a family first mindset. And that really starts off with defining what really matters to you. What matters to you? What matters most to you? Does family matter most to you? Does your work matter most to you? Does your boss matter most to you? What matters most to you? And it's so easy for us to get caught up in this pursuit of success at work. You know, we want to do well at work. We want to succeed. We want to climb the ladder, whatever it may be. And sometimes as men, we have this idea that success or our role or our job defines who we are. But that's not true. You're not defined by worldly things. You're not defined by your job. You're not defined by your possessions. You're not defined by any of that. You're defined by who God says you are ultimately. But for me, real success in life is found in relationships. It's not found in a pay packet. It's not found in my dream role or my dream job or whatever it might be. It's found in relationships. And not to be morbid, but there is nobody who is passing away and they're on their deathbed talks about their success at work. They don't. They don't. You know, they don't want their bosses round their bed and all of their medals and all of their accolades and, you know, all of the trophies that they've won. You know, they want people that they love around their bed. They want their family around the bed. You know, and they want family who are there, who love them deeply, who are saying, "I'm so proud of you. Thank you for the legacy that you're leaving." So ask yourself, you know, what legacy are you leaving? What legacy do you want to leave for your kids? Because your kids, they won't, your kids will remember the hours that you spent with them. They'll remember that. And equally as much, if you don't do that, they'll remember the hours that you spent at your desk. So it's up to you, it's up to us as dads. How do we want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as a dad that was fully present, fully engaged, that was there for a listening ear, that was fair but firm, you know, that really encouraged and mentored and looked after, that passed on faith, that passed on knowledge and wisdom and insight? Do we want to be remembered for that, or do we want to say, do we want our kids to say, my dad, so he was there, but he was never there? So it's up to us. It's just up to us. We got to change that mindset to a family first mindset. And again, dads, I've said this in other videos, this isn't about being perfect. This is about making that decision, shifting that perspective and going, I'm all in for my kids and I'm all in for my family, and I'm going to be consistent in how I show up with them. I'm going to show up in the small moments. I'm going to show up in the big moments. I'm going to let my kids know that they matter more than anything in the world. I'm going to let my kids know that they matter more than my to-do list, that they matter more than what my boss thinks, they matter more about what money that I have, that they are my priority in life, and I am 100% there. I'm 100% backing them. And that mind shift, that shifts everything, and that changes everything. That'll change the dynamics in your house, the dynamics with your kids, when you decide to show up powerfully as a father. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is this: learn to set boundaries. So protect what matters most. So if you've made a decision that your family matters most, protect that, set boundaries around that, that makes that set that time set aside and set apart. If you don't make boundaries, work will bleed into things, social media will bleed into things, there'll be other things that are fighting for your attention. So you got to set boundaries that make a protection around that time. So for me, some of the boundaries that I had was, when I came home at night, I took a little bit of a moment in the driveway. I breathed, because I was very stressed at the time. I breathed. I imagined just going in and connecting with the kids. I imagined being present with them. And I could just feel that joy starting to bubble up. I mentally, in my own head, prayed and said, you know, God, I leave all of this stress at your feet. I leave it all here. Help me connect. Help me be present. When I walked through the door, I made sure to give my wife a kiss, kissed the kids, took my phone and I put it on the mantelpiece. And that phone wasn't touched again until the evening time when the kids went to bed. My bag got put in the cupboard, and I was intentionally being present with everybody in the house. Now, that was difficult at times. I'm not saying that that was easy, but the more consistent I was with doing that, the easier it became, and the more of the benefit that I saw of being able to do that. The other thing I want to mention is, sorry, let me go back. What are the boundaries that are going to be important for you? It's important for you to think that through. What do you need to do in order for you to click into that present dad mode when you go into the house? So the next thing I want to talk about in regards to this is, don't try to do it alone. Don't do it on your own. Delegate. Ask for help. Asking for help isn't a weakness. It's wisdom. So get support from your wife, from your partner. Get support from your colleagues, your teammates. Maybe they can take on some work, or at least have a conversation with your boss around this topic and this issue, or get advice from other dads. We're not meant to carry these heavy loads on our own. And as men, we tend, because we've got big, broad, strong shoulders and the things that we're told we should be like as men, we have this tendency of wanting to carry the stress and the strain of these things on our own. But we're not meant to. So get support, ask for help, and make that decision to set those boundaries. I'm under no illusion that trying to shift a big boat or a big tanker in the middle of an ocean takes time. So if you're so used to a certain work-life balance, then it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable as you make these shifts and make these transitions. But in that discomfort, you are going to become more of an intentional father, and your kids will thank you for it. When you start to prioritize what's really important for you, you'll feel that yourself, because you'll start to notice the things that you perhaps missed out on, and you'll start to be so grateful and thankful for that time that you have with your kids, being able to see them blossom, being able to play with them. You get to act like a big child again. You get to see the smile on their face. It's such a beautiful, beautiful time. Or if you have older kids, being able to sit with them as they do homework, or just watch TV with them, or just be in their presence. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the intentionality of presence. The intentionality of presence, being present, being engaged, because that's how you build your legacy as a dad. So here's the challenge. Today I want you to think about, or write about, or even if you're really brave, implement a couple of small steps today. So set a boundary. What boundary are you going to put in that's going to protect your family time? Block out some time, schedule out some time for your family. And the last is reach out for support. Ask other dads how they do it. Engage in conversation, or get some support from work. So there's the three challenges. I hope that this video was useful for you. And it's all about us becoming the kind of dads that our kids need. So thanks for watching. Hope it encouraged you today. And I will see you in the next video. If this was helpful and you think that there's a dad out there that might benefit from listening to this today, then pass it on to them. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Adios.